Hey, it's been a while, everyone. Um, haven't done a Band-Maid reaction in quite a while. I think I have like at least 70 on the channel. This will mark 3 years of Band-Maid reactions on my channel so far. Um, yeah, I've ever since I discovered this group, I've tried to support them and spread the word as much as I possibly could within um, my capability. I kind of did the math on my Band-Maid views. Um, I think I have like 2.5 million views on my channel altogether, and about half of those were from Band-Maid videos. So that's incredible. That's somebody somewhere maybe seeing Band-Maid for the first time, and I take pride in that. Hopefully, they absorbed it and they loved it and they passed it on to their friends or family members or a coworker or colleague or something. That's what it's all about. That's the power of YouTube. um, I just recently subscribed to what's it called, um, excuse me, I just recently discovered him, Party Like a Rock Star podcast. He does amazing reaction videos. He just had Ryan Muir on there, and they were talking about a reactor space called Reactors Network, and I recently had just joined that. Whatever that means, whatever that entails, you know, to help support YouTube music, and to keep us safe on YouTube, from strikes or copyright, while spreading the word of this music. Um, we are excellent advertisers at the end of the day. We reach a huge audience, and that's got to be valuable to these artists. I know a lot of artists and musicians really appreciate the reactor space. Um, I know a lot of times it comes from the company heads, the distribution companies or the label themselves or whatnot that actually submit these copyrights and these strikes against reactors and reviewers and vocal coaches and that kind of space on YouTube. Um, but there's an argument to be made that we are very, very good at spreading the word of music. I get it all the time. Hey, I discovered your channel and I found this song for the first time, and I appreciate you for doing that. It happens all the time. I get comments all the time. I'm not as active on YouTube as I used to be. A little bit of the passion, kind of dissipated for me. I started out, I set out on this channel because I was pretty set in my ways, pretty ignorant towards music, wasn't very open minded, very heavy metal, screamo, djent, new metal, music. It's evolved over time. Back in the day, I was very punk rock. If it was um, played at the Vans Warp Tour, I probably listened to it. Even went to Vans Warp Tour. Got to see some very, very incredible musicians play. Some memorable stuff. Like Flogging Molly is still one of the highlights of anything I've ever listened to music wise. You know, um, I've been fortunate enough to see Linkin Park um, before Chester Bennington passed away. I've seen Tool at the Gorge in Washington. That was one of the most insane musical theatrics I've ever experienced. Some big names there. Blink 182, Newfound Glory, Green Day, um, uh, Bad Religion. There's so I could just go on and on, and Glass Jaw, if no effects, they're just it goes on and on. Motionless and I've seen Motionless in White. I've seen Korn. I've seen Rob Zombie. Big stadium artists. And here's where here's my problem with Band-Maid. Band-Maid ruined music for me. I'm not gonna lie, it ruined a lot of music for me. I don't find uh, uh, very much music anymore that I really get into. And what I mean by that is Bandmaid is they're just so incredible at at it just hits a certain itch in my brain. Um, I'm not the most musically inclined person on the internet talking about music. There's far superior technical people, like Ryan Muir, like Decodec, like Wave Potter, that can break down this music so much better than I can, and explains what they're actually hearing so much better than I can. But I know what I'm hearing, and I have a general idea of why it sounds good to me. I can't get very much into the technical jargon or even try to play it. I have some drumming experience. I have some bass experience. I wasn't terrible, um, but I wasn't the best. I have played in bands before, um, but it never went anywhere, and I never got too deep into it. I was pretty wild back then. I was all over the place, and I was more into skateboarding and BMX and stuff like that. But Bandmade, back to that, they just hit bass lines and guitar riffs and drum licks, that are so in the pocket for musicians' ears and for people that enjoy the technical aspect, but they are so captivating with their melodies and their hooks, where it doesn't feel sophisticated enough to, there's math rock out there, there's complex music, and that you could really dive into and really figure out the syncopations and the scales and the rhythms and the polys and the those kind of things, and Bandmate is so good at sprinkling those little nuances in without it being overwhelming, without it being jarring. They still captivate you as an audience and throws you into a listening mode that just you're just firing on all cylinders, like, oh, that was cool, oh, that was cool, oh, that was cool, whether Psyche's belting or easy singing, or Misa's just lick for lick keeping up with Konami, or doing some crazy bass slide, some weird rumbles in between, the verse and the chorus, or a bridge section just blasting out some crazy bass riffs, you just got Miku, who is just such a poet. I don't A lot of people don't actually go too deep into the lyrics of Bandmade, but it is some very philosophical and uh, technical and deep thinking stuff. She has a roundabout way of explaining feelings without actually hitting the word, on the head. Even Psyche's, a very, very, very good lyricist, a little bit more straightforward, you know, as this song we're going to listen to, Hate, you really get really quickly understand what she is trying to convey in her lyrics, whereas I feel like Miko's a little bit more deep thinking, a little bit more Shakespearean, if that makes sense, with her writing style, and she can hold it down on a rhythm like no other. She might not be the most technical player, but she sits right where she needs to be to carry the song from beginning to end, and that lets Konami just earworm your way through an entire song with riff after riff after riff. It's an incredible experience, and then you got Akane, who's just so in the pocket with every beat she puts down on the drum. I don't know how to explain it. It never sounds out of place. Not one snare or cymbal or drum fill just sounds out of place. It it moves you from one section of the song to the next so effortlessly, and it's all clear. It is all clear. You can hear everything. You can hear every little detail of this band's nuance. Um, no matter what you want, no matter if you're a drummer, no matter if you're a singer, no matter if you're a bassist or a guitarist, there is a part in these songs that they do that you can easily hear and understand why it sounds cool. And I think for a musician, that's why they love it so much, because they're like, oh, that's really cool, I can learn that. Or, wow, that's some wild stuff, how did they do that? There's that, and that is, for anybody that wants to learn, that is far more superior than a 4/4. And they have that, they do have that, a 4/4, or a basic section. I'm not saying that isn't in Band-Maid's spectrum, but Western music is just, they hit the beat on the head and then they carry it all the way through the song. No matter what instrument, you'll get your little 20-second guitar burst in the middle. You won't hear no bass. Um, the the drumming just is white noise, and it's very vocal heavy, talking about some trope that's been talked about for the last 20 years in American rock music. It's asinine what a lot of this music has come to. And it's not all like that. It's not. There's a lot of amazing musicians right here in the United States. I'm not discrediting everything. It's just radio rock it's there's a lot left on the table for American rock. And I don't know if we'll ever get off of what is currently being played right now. Um, yeah, again, Band-Maid ruined a lot of music for me. They made me just, I when I hear something, I'm just like, well, Band-Maid could have done that way cooler, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. I really, really, really appreciate this group. I've seen them live twice now. I want to see them every time they come to the U.S. Something like Japan is quite out of my range. At the moment. That could change. Um, but yeah, it's just, and I've that's what kicked off this channel for me. Is I've talked to my dad a little bit, before my channel, about this group. He went on and on and on for weeks saying, hey, you got to check this group out, you got to check this group out, referencing Band-Maid. He knew how much I liked music and how much I understood music. So I think that's why he was so adamant for me checking out Band-Maid. It's in a sense that's kind of what started my channel. The first song I ever heard from Band-Maid was Moratorium. Um, threw it up on my phone and put my headphones on, and I must have listened to that song at least 20 times. Within those first couple hours, I heard this group. It was incredible. The bass line captivated me like no other. I didn't know who Miso was, and that just the bass. And I just never heard that much bass in a song before, and it was so good. It wasn't out of place. It wasn't like it was all the way up front or anything like that. It was right where it needed to be within the song, and it was just thunderous. It was just I love bass, and that just it hit a spot that just resonated with me, and that led to me checking out some reaction videos of Band-Maid. I knew what reaction videos were at the time. I was watching reaction videos of like Nightwish and Ginger. The typical reaction videos, Pentatonics, stuff like that. And I was like, you know what? I can talk about this band. I love this band. I want to hear more. Where do I go? Where do I start? What do I listen to? I don't understand Japanese. I don't even know what I'm looking at. I hear it and I love it, but what is this? Where is this? And why is it here? And what is it doing to me? And I was like, looking through the comment section, a lot of people were talking about a lot of things I was interested in with this group, and I was like, I'm gonna make a video on it and I'm gonna talk about it, and the rest is history. I was doing 5-6 reaction videos a week sometimes, on this group, and I didn't go through everything, but I went, like I said, 60-70 reaction videos, I think, or something like that, for Band-Maid, and I started 3 years ago, and it's been incredible. It's a huge part of my life. I got signed Band-Maid merch. I've been to a couple concerts, Kane drumsticks, and a whole stack full of T-shirts I don't even want to take out of the wrapper. Because I just find them so valuable, and you know, when you buy band merch, I bought plenty of band merch from other bands, you know, um, from Hot Topic or whatever, and the next day you're immediately on, you're wearing it out, you're wearing it every day and stuff, and I'm like, this is too valuable to even put on, it's crazy. This group is crazy. It's got me just thinking in different ways. It's made me want to pick up the bass again. I'm really, really sometime, or even a guitar. It's made me want to learn the guitar. I've never wanted to learn the guitar. I wanted to learn the bass, but I've never thought about learning the guitar. I've never been very fluent. I got stiff hands. They they do tend to cramp up. Maybe that would help. I don't know, but they want me to learn. That is a valuable thing. That should be a valuable. I hope that girls know that. They inspire as much as they do. I'm sure they do. They wouldn't have kept at it as long as they have. I know they got an album coming out. I know Clupo just announced a collaboration with a mobile game. Wasn't on my bingo card when I woke up this morning. Um, Looking forward to what they're gonna do. It's who knows. Unseen World for me was a crazy, crazy, crazy album. I liked Conqueror, and I liked their older stuff. It hit a little bit more on the the rock and roll side of things, a little bit more what we were hearing, what I was hearing previously in the United States, but a very very technical, a very better version of Western music, if that makes sense, if you get what I'm trying to say there, and it sounded better, it sounded cooler, it sounded funner, um, and then they came out with Unseen World, and it went more progressive. I know that a lot of people weren't fans of that, but they're musicians through and through, and you can tell because they're constantly learning, they're constantly trying new things. That's representative of, you could just see that on a a pedal board for these girls. They're stacked. They're full of pedals. You don't have that many pedals if you're stuck in your ways. You got your favorite pedals and that's it. And you're gonna learn exactly what those pedals do. But when you have as many pedals as Konami does, you're clicking stuff. You're trying new things. That, I think it's called her Eventude, was a very crazy pedal. That sound, that Eventude pedal made it later on in like Influencer, was wild. That guitar tone is wild, and you don't do that unless you're learning. You're constantly learning. Um, that's a cool musician. That is a very, very, very cool musician. Just more things in her arsenal that she can pick from when delivering music to us. So who knows what this album is going to sound like? Are we going to harken back to some of their old stuff? Are we going to get even more progressive? Are we going to get heavier? You um, Moratorium or Rhine or Renee or however you. I still to this day don't know how to. I know it's reincarnation. Rhine. You know, I don't know. Anyways, who knows what this album is gonna sound like? I gives me anxiety thinking about it. I'm so looking forward to it. It's gonna be radical. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be new, and I'll be all over that. Um, Reaction videos. Like I said, I haven't been doing very many reaction videos. I don't know if that's just because I tried other things. I went into the K-pop space. There's a lot of incredible things going on there. It's on. It's not for everybody. I understand that. It's a growing music space. There's a lot of really cool musicians within K-pop. A lot of cool and very, very excellent singers. You know, there's a lot of stuff there that um, people just don't understand. That it's hard to give a try, and that's what I did. I gave it a try, and there's a lot of things that I've discovered that I liked about it. There's a lot of things that I don't like about it as well, and there's a little bit of that in the Japanese music space. There's elitism within the fandoms, within the communities, that if you like this group, you can't like this group, and this group is better than this group because of sales and subscribers and yada yada. And it's tenfold within the K-pop space, and it's pretty toxic sometimes. And I was dealing with a lot of that. And I shouldn't have. I got a little bit more involved in social media at the time. Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, or X now, and built a Discord, and it brought me to these communities, and I seen what went on in people's mindsets, and a lot of hate came about within these communities and within these social spaces, and I think it kind of just weighed on me a little bit and slowed me down and kind of demotivated me. It's amazing how you get a lot of slack from these communities. Love Bites is a good example, kind of in the middle of my reactor career, um, of what I'm talking about here. I had listened to some Love Bites, um, and they're excellent. They're amazing. Who wouldn't be in love with those girls? They're incredible as well. And they're virtuosos on their instruments, and but the type of music, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not my favorite type of rock and roll. It's not my favorite type of metal. Very thrashy, very speed oriented. That kind of stuff isn't quite the rock and hard rock and heavy metal music, or metal music, that I enjoy the most. I appreciate it and I understand it, and I can talk good things about it all day long. It's just not something that I would pick up every day and listen to. So what is that? Oh, it's like a little reflection off of the metal there. Weird, it's messing me up. Anyways, it was a little squirrel moment there. Um, Love Bites. It wasn't my everyday music, and I think a few people might have felt that a little bit, maybe in my reaction videos of them, or um, maybe I said something that rubbed somebody the wrong way. I'm not sure to this day, but a lot of people didn't like me giving Band-Maid so much more attention than Love Bites when I found them, and a lot of people got angry with me, and a lot of people said some pretty mean and harsh things. A lot of people trolled my channel for a while, even after trying to remove them from being able to interact with me, making multiple accounts or this, that, and the other thing. And it went on for a while. They went as far as emailing me threats, um, and stuff like that. And even though the music has nothing to do with how terrible a fan acts, it really demotivates you from wanting to interact with that music in a social space. And that was kind of the first iteration of where I kind of felt a little demotivated, and it's where I started taking breaks from music or from reactions. And when I transitioned into K-pop, it kind of tenfolded my my ability and my motivation to make these reaction videos. It got even worse. I started taking longer periods of time off. There was a uh, really cool interactions, and it really opened up another layer, peeled off another band-aid to my stuck ways, or another layer to my ignorance, and showed me another world of music that to this day is I've integrated a lot of that K-pop stuff into my everyday listen. Groups like G Idol, where they are self-produced, and they're self-motivated, and they're all excellent singers, and they talk about um, tropes within things that they deal with in South Korea, like misogyny and women empowerment, and things uh, that I support. Um, it's not for everybody. Dreamcatcher, that I know they don't play their instruments, but their instrumentals in their music is incredible. It's very rock and hard rock oriented. They go into like other things that I found fascinating, like EDM music and club music and stuff like that, and integrated that in a very cool way with it. Again, very incredible singers, and very good personalities. I found some rock music, the Rolling Quartz, has been a staple now in in my music I listen to. They do play their own instruments. All female rock group, very very cool group. Um, so there's been a lot of things I found within that space that I enjoy too. And previous to my channel, I would have never have done that. And I have to thank Band-Maid for that. They've ruined a lot of music for me. And in a way, if you think about it, they've also captivated music for me, if that makes sense. You know, I've seen how boring a lot of music is because of them, and I've now gained a lot of experience on what I'm looking forward to in my music as well. So, I hope you can find the same within, maybe if it's not Band-Maid, maybe they lead you into another group like Nemo Fila, Love Bites, Hanabiye, Hagane, um, there's a lot. There's a list. If anybody wants a list, I got a list for them of music they should check out within Japanese music. Glim Spanky, uh, that group. It's not for everybody, but her voice is insane. Um, that whole group is insane. I really enjoyed Glim Spanky, and that's music I would have never listened to. But this group, Band-Maid, really, I don't know what it did. It rewired my way of thinking about music. What I what I'm looking for, the musicianship within music. Um, and the rest is history, and it's why I did my channel. It wasn't I've my channel's demonetized. I have put up links where people can send me $5 here and there, or subscribe to different things that have will get me to listen to what they want to listen to. But I've never monetized my channel. I've never made money off of my views. Um, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot harder than you think it is to, people think it's just sitting in front of a camera and talking, but then you gotta, when that video's done, then you gotta do something with it. You gotta go in there and make sure the audio's clean, make sure your vocals are clean. I'm still not the best at it. Who knows what this video is gonna sound like? I swear it changes every time I click play or click record or something. It boggles my mind to this day. I am not a technician at all within audio. I got some nice things. I got my Focusrite um, equipment. I got my boom arm. I got my nice mic. And I got a audio stack with an equalizer and a DAC and an amplifier. I got in ear headphones. I got Bear Dynamic over ear headphones. I got $2,000 computer. I that I built myself. But for some reason, when it comes to just cleaning audio and editing videos, I just and that played a little part in my motivation as well. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't just all about communities and fandoms and toxicity. It was having to put in the work to put out a video. I was pretty straightforward in the beginning, very unedited, just whatever happens. Hit upload. It's gotten a little better. I do a little more than that. I clean up my audio. I um do a little bit more editing, color grading, stuff like that. A little bit more visuals. Splicing together intros and stuff like that. And it take an hour or two and stuff. And when you don't get anything from it, it becomes you got to really love it, or otherwise it becomes a chore. And I'm not a very chore oriented person. I do things when I want to do them, and I don't ever want this channel to feel like I have to do it. I started this channel to find new music, and it's still because I want to find new music, and it veered away from that a little bit, and I think that's why my motivation, uh, part of my motivation, left this channel. But gonna try try to get back into that, doing the things that I want to do. And sorry, my mouth was getting a little dry from all this talking. I know you want to see this hate video from Band-Maid, but I might separate this out, just make this its own video. Or no, you know what? I'll do the reaction video within this. I'll just put a chapter, time stamp it, so everybody can just skip through the BS, my talking too much. I've been talking for 36 minutes. But I hope somebody sticks through this and listens to the whole thing and kind of listens to my story and my motivation and why I have the channel. And don't think I've ever got too in depth with that. But yeah, if people, paid for my subscribers that have paid attention to my channel, they know that I've kind of taken my donation link away for the time being, and I scrubbed a few social medias away from my channel, just so I don't have that part of music involved in what I'm looking for. I don't never been a fandom guy. I've never been a stan. I've never been an elitist. Music is music, and that's how it should be enjoyed. It shouldn't be controlled by a group of people that think you should listen to this, that, or the other thing. I'm going to enjoy what I'm going to enjoy. Nobody's going to motivate me elsewhere forcibly. Recommendations and your thoughts and opinions still matter to me. I just don't want, it's not going to be like, hey, I don't like this group because of this audience, or I like this group more because their fandom's better. I'm going to cut that out. I got too involved with that. I'm going to let this kind of go back to where it used to be, and one video after the other would guide me into the next video. It wasn't I got 10 videos lined up for the week type of thing. It was getting my inspiration from the comments section or from what group I was listening to next. And I think that's important for me. Otherwise, this channel is going to disappear. I was pretty close to pulling the plug on this channel and deleting it, a couple times there, because I just couldn't stand having to hit play and reacting to something that was paid for, or something that everybody wanted to listen to, but I didn't care to listen to it. Very boring, very draining, because I already knew about it, or vice versa. Going into music blind is incredible. I recommend somebody trying it if they haven't. And that's what I loved about it. And I'm going to try to go back to that. There's a lot of old music I want to feature on this channel, a lot of punk rock music that I would love to showcase, that also kind of molded my early years of my Levi music career. That got me playing bass, that got me on the drum set, that got me into a band, that led me from one music journey to the next, punk rock into heavier metal into this channel, in Japanese music into K-pop. It has a story, and I want to showcase that through reactions to that music. And I'll do that slowly, I still want it to be focused on finding new music within these music spaces. So, and going back to my favorites like Band-Maid with this new album, crazy news coming out of Japan with Saki leaving Nemophila. That was sad. I love Saki. She's incredible. Um, Mayu picking up the guitar, the rhythm guitar. I think she's like on a Dave Grohl Epiphone. I think there's a Gibson variant to that, which I thought that was pretty cool. Um, that's a cool guitar. So let's see what she can do with a rhythm guitar and still keeping that energy. She's nuts on stage. She's wild. She's very decoupled from her surroundings. She moves around a lot. She's screaming. She's bending over. She's headbang, and let's see what that translates to while she's holding a guitar now. Will it be every song? Will it be some songs? Will it just, are we going to get more backing track on the rhythm? How does Hazuki incorporate what Saki brought to the table, into her own? Does that open her up for more movement within her guitar? Does Haraguchi take a more front and center bass playing experience like Misa does in Band-Maid? There's a lot of interesting questions and there's probably even a lot of doubters and a lot of people that are annoyed by that news. They're incredible. They're four incredible musicians. They're all virtuosos on their instruments, so I'm not worried one bit. I think they'll find their space, and I think they'll crush it. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, just things like that I want to be involved in on this channel, and I need to get back to that. So that's why you've seen breaks in my channel and not as motivating. You're not seeing me, and it's bad for a channel. It is absolutely terrible for a channel's retention to 2 good months on, 2 bad months off, 2 good months on, 2 bad months off, 3 good months on, 1 bad month of nothing, or it is absolutely terrible. When I'm making videos, my channel grows pretty substantially. I still have slow channel growth. My channel isn't going down. It's going up slowly. But when I'm making videos, my channel has steady growth and steady views, and people want to hear what my thoughts are and want to hear what I'm talking about and what I like and what I dislike. And I've been pretty real in my reaction channels. I'm not harsh. I don't need to be harsh on music to show the audience that I don't care for it. And I'm not hyped up on so much on one artist that's all you're ever going to hear. That's not what my channel's about. It's finding music to hopefully you find music. I wanted to find music to show you music. That's what this channel is. It's not a lot of people, as their channel grows, couples it to Patreon and couples it to money and couples it to sponsorship and paid views and paid reactions and sponsored streams, and they want to make money off of that and stuff like that. And I don't want I just don't care for that, and it ruined a lot of this channel. Yeah, there's some reactions that I do owe people that some paid requests that I will get out. I promise I will get out, but you won't be seeing that again on my channel. I don't think. Not anytime soon. Maybe in certain motivations. Maybe I'll set criteria for certain, a little bit more strict criteria for those paid reactions or something like that. And I'm not gonna make a Patreon. I want to do more live streaming. Um, I do play video games. I love video games. I play games like Destiny 2, Helldivers, Diablo, are the three kind of my main games at the moment, and I found a little bit of audience with that. So I want to kind of, I have incorporated that a little bit. There's some live streaming video games on my channel a little bit, and some people have got an enjoyment out of that, and I've had some retaining audience for that as well. So you'll see more of that. Maybe I'll go live. I want to, live stream reactions. See how that goes, and also, ugh, thoughts got a lot of things bouncing around up there. And also, instead of just live streaming video games, I want to live stream music as well. It's hard on YouTube, so I'll try to transition that part of it to Twitch. So look forward to that. Anyways, let's check out Band-Maid Hate. I've heard this before. I watched the Lollapalooza live version of this song. The camera work in that sucked. The fan cam audio, or the fan cam video, with the live stream audio is a much better viewing experience of Lollapalooza, if you can find that. I know there's some stuff floating around people have made. And I think people even have done some editing work to the live stream and stuff like that. So that video is out there somewhere of the Lollapalooza Band-Maid music. So I've heard hate from that. I don't think I seen this live in either of the concerts I went to. Anyways, let's check out Band-Maid Hate. This was from the Yokohama Arena 10th anniversary tour. I think it was their last show. I know they're doing some spin-off stuff now. Incredible venue for them. A lot of people showed up for that. I don't know. I've heard conflicting results on the attendance for that show. I've heard people say as low as 7,000 all the way up to 17,000. I've heard people estimate it being closer to like 10 to 13,000. I think I see that more frequently. I heard it was sold out. I heard it wasn't sold out for the amount of tickets that they had. I know the stadium wasn't completely open to them. The top rafters, they had a walkway that was taking up a lot of space in the middle. So I don't know attendance figures, but it was still I think it was their biggest show to date, and it was very incredible. And they brought all the stops to that show. They played 3.5 hours. They had other artists, other musicians show up to that show. I know Love Bites was there. 3 of the Love Bites girls were there. I know they did a lot of cool things within that show. So, I didn't unfortunately get to see it. I don't know. I think it still might be available for streaming. If not, that's okay. I know I'll watch it someday, eventually. Find the DVD. on eBay or something and purchase it, or if they still sell it outright. I know a lot of that stuff's limited run. Maybe they'll sell a standard version or whatever. They'll continue to sell a standard version that I can pick up from their official store where I can watch this show. But Band-Maid Hate Yokohama official live video. I'm looking to see what they do here.